Upon hearing Tram Vien's question, Qiu Lui's cheeks flushed slightly, and with a meaningful look in her eyes she replied, "Senior, I will listen to whatever you say." Tram Vien thought to himself that the advisor would not finish work for some time, and since he had nothing else to do, he might as well pass the time there. He then replied, "Very well, but let me make this clear first. I am only going up to sit for a while. I will not do anything else." Having said that, he entered the building with the two young women. At that moment, a dormitory matron appeared from behind and asked loudly, "Student, this is the women's dormitory. What are you intending to do?" Seeing this, Qiu Lui immediately ran over, grabbed the woman's hand, and explained, "Ma'am, this is my boyfriend. I am about to go on vacation, so he is helping me with my luggage. Could you make an exception for us?" Hearing this, the matron waved her hand and said, "Very well, but do not stay up there for too long." Upon hearing her response, Qiu Lui beamed and said, "Thank you, ma'am, you are the best." After a short while, the three of them arrived at the room. Qiu Lui stepped inside and said, "Is it clean and tidy?" "Hee, hurry up and praise me." Tram Vien glanced toward the wardrobe and noticed several items spilling out, so he asked, "If the dormitory room is this clean and tidy, why is the wardrobe so messy that the door won't even close?" After speaking, he reached out to grab what was protruding from the closet. Seeing this, Tin Ham rushed over in a panic to stop him, stammering, Tram Vien, a wardrobe contains a lady's private belongings. You cannot simply look inside as you please." Tram Vien asked with curiosity, "Why is that?" Qiu Lui is not worried. "So why are you? Is there something you do not want others to see?" Tin Ham stammered, "That." It was then that Qiu Lui spoke up, "Tin Ham, let him see." Hearing this, Tin Ham said nothing more, and shyly stepped aside. With no one left to stop him, Tram Vien opened the closet door and gazed at the skimpy garments inside. He blushed and thought to himself, "Good heavens, what is this? Can these even be called clothes? They resemble mere scraps of fabric more than anything. Furthermore, these items are paired like twin sets." Seeing the expression on his face, Tin Ham flushed crimson and thought to herself, "I told Qiu Lui not to buy them, but she insisted. Now, it is a disaster. What will Tram Vien think of us?" Tram Vien then turned back, pointed at the items in the closet, and asked, Lui, did you buy these?" Qiu Lui remained expressionless and calmly replied, "And if I did? Were these not all prepared for you?" "I intentionally bought the matching sets," Tin Ham added sheepishly. "I did not agree to this. Qiu Lui bought them herself. I never said I wanted to wear them." With that, Qiu Lui walked over to the window and drew the curtains. Tram Vien saw this and asked, "Are you serious? Why are you closing the curtains?" Qiu Lui replied, "All of this has been prepared for you, Tram Vien. Now, it is time for you to inspect us." Tram Vien feigned innocence and asked, "Inspect what?" Qiu Lui replied, "You tell me." Tram Vien glanced at his watch and thought to himself, the advisor still had 45 minutes until the end of her shift. This amount of time was barely enough for one person, but for two, he could not show favoritism. Sometimes, one simply has to be swift. He then turned and said, "I wish to see who among you has been training better." Tin Ham's cheeks turned deep red, and she hurriedly said, "It is Lui." Seeing her demeanor, Qiu Lui teased, "It is clearly Tin Ham." Seeing the two girls pushing the responsibility onto one another, Tram Vien pulled them both into his arms and said, "Stop arguing. Let us inspect both. No one is getting away today." Moments later, from within the small room, sounds of intense activity began to echo. The matron standing outside heard these noises, and even her spirit, though long past her youth, felt a stir. She chuckled, thinking to herself, "Hee, the youth of today are truly something." Time passed quickly, and 42 minutes later, the inspection finally concluded. Tram Vien exited the room and said, "I have urgent matters to attend to, so I must leave. We shall continue the inspection later." In his heart he thought, "I will spend 1 minute heading downstairs, and another 2 minutes driving to the advisor's office." Within the room, Jinghan remained curled upon the bed, her entire frame trembling. Seeing this, Chao Lei asked, "Jinghan, are you still holding up?" Jinghan cast a distant gaze toward the window and replied, I am better than last time. It seems the yoga and Pilates are proving quite effective." Hearing this, Chao Lei spoke with excitement. "I agree that we have made significant progress, but it seems we must continue our training. Just consider it. If we have advanced this much in a mere half-month, what shall we achieve in 1 or 2 months? In the future, we will no longer need to act together. Either one of us will be able to easily suppress Shen Yuan. Soon enough, Fang Minhui will no longer be a match for us." Jinghan responded with a sense of helplessness. "Must you be so stubborn? I have told you before, perhaps Shen Yuan simply prefers our appearance of vulnerability." Chao Lei cut her off. "Come now, do you think I do not know you? I would wager that even Shen Yuan is unaware you possess such peculiar tastes." Saying this, she lifted a pair of handcuffs. "Today, we shall forego any equipment. I truly desire to see you bound." And then, Hee hee hee. Outside, as he arrived at the entrance of the dormitory, the caretaker who had spoken earlier teased. Was it not just a matter of helping with luggage? Where is the luggage then? Shen Yuan replied. I have already moved all the belongings upstairs. Essentially, it was merely a transfer from one dormitory room to another. The caretaker cast a meaningful look towards Shen Yuan, smiling to herself as she thought, the youth of today are truly reckless. To have handled two of them in such a short span of time? Time flowed swiftly, and shortly thereafter, Shen Yuan arrived below the school office to collect Lei Zhao. Observing her sitting in the back seat once again, Shen Yuan asked in surprise, What is the matter, counselor? Why such formality today? With a face full of contemplation, Lei Zhao replied, I believe sitting in the back is quite sufficient. Hearing this, Shen Yuan remarked, Counselor Levay, you are acting quite unusually. Internally, he pondered. The counselor must be distressed, yet when I spoke to her on the phone, she seemed fine. Could it be that she witnessed me arriving to pick up Chao Lei and Long Jinghan? He then began to fabricate a story. Counselor Lafori, what a coincidence. I happened to run into two former members of the student union, and I offered to escort them back to their dormitory. It is hard to believe they are already third-year students. Time passes so quickly. They kept asking me for career guidance and advice, but how could I possibly deceive them? Hearing these words, Lei Xiao thought to herself, Shen Yuan was a member of the student union during his first and second years, but he departed in the second semester of his second year. He was always well regarded and possessed a great many friends. Upon this thought, she asked, The dormitory is quite close. What were you doing during all that time? Shen Yuan continued his charade. It has been quite a long time since I returned to campus, so I simply took a stroll around the sports field, thinking you would not finish work so early, Lei Xiao replied. Is that so? Very well. Seizing the moment, Shen Yuan shifted from defense to offense, turning to ask, Counselor Levay, could it be that you are jealous of this? Lei Xiao blushed, replying in confusion. That is certainly not the case. Watching her demeanor, Shen Yuan smiled broadly and said, You say that, yet why is your face so flushed? Lei Xiao averted her gaze, her voice urgent. Drive the car first. Shen Yuan persisted. Then you should move to the front. Lei Xiao replied, I am already seated in the back, and I shall not change. When we return, I will sit in the passenger seat. Shen Yuan smiled, saying, Come here. While I am driving and you are in the back, I cannot see you. Furthermore, other teachers must be finishing their shifts at this hour. You surely would not want me to stay here and be seen by them, would you? Hearing this, Lei Xiao reluctantly stepped out of the vehicle to change her seat. As she climbed back in, she said, Are you satisfied now? Can we drive now? Shen Yuan answered, that is much better. 2 minutes later, Lei Xiao shifted uncomfortably and called out, Shen Yuan. Shen Yuan asked, Yes? What is the matter? Lei Xiao looked down at his hand, which was wandering below, and asked, Is this the reason you insisted I sit in the passenger seat?